Hello there and welcome to Playworms. The film opens with Sam Wilson jogging in Washington, D.C. when Steve Rogers easily laps him multiple times. The two introduce themselves, and Sam, recognizing Steve's struggle to adjust to modern life, a car pulls up driven by Natasha Romanoff and Steve gets in. Steve and Natasha, alongside S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, are sent on a mission to stop pirates led by George Batroc who have hijacked the Lemurian Star, holding hostages including Agent Sitwell. Steve, dressed as Captain America, leaps from the jet armed only with his shield, taking down pirates. Natasha and the agents assist, rescuing the hostages. On the ship's deck, Steve faces Batroc in a brutal fight. After knocking Batroc down, Steve removes his mask and delivers the final blow. As the mission continues, Steve catches Natasha secretly extracting files from the ship's computer. He confronts her, but she brushes him off. A grenade is thrown at them, and Steve reacts quickly, diving through a window with Natasha just before the explosion. At S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, Steve confronts Fury about Natasha's secret actions. Fury admits he didn't trust Steve to handle it, so he assigned Natasha. He reveals Project Insight, a plan to use helicarriers linked to spy satellites to preemptively neutralize threats. While Fury sees it as necessary, Steve questions the ethics of using such power. Steve then visits the elderly Peggy, who briefly recognizes him before lapsing back into confusion. Steve reassures her, "I couldn't leave my best girl. Not when she owes me a dance." Meanwhile, Fury tries to access Natasha's files but is blocked by security measures he had set up. Suspicious, he meets with Secretary Pierce, who agrees to delay Project Insight, but jokingly asks for Iron Man to attend his niece's birthday. Steve finds Sam leading a veterans support group for PTSD. Afterward, Sam shares that he lost his best friend, Riley, to an RPG in battle. Despite the pain, Sam still loves flying. Fury drives through the streets while contacting Agent Maria Hill to arrange a meeting. But before he can reach safety, a police car slams into his vehicle, followed by more cars and a disguised SWAT team. They unleash gunfire on him, but his armored SUV holds up until a battering ram weakens it. Fury retaliates with a minigun, taking out several attackers before speeding off with 2 cars in pursuit. As his onboard AI finds a safe route, a masked assassin appears, launching a small explosive that flips Fury's car. Fury narrowly escapes by cutting through the wreckage with a laser. Later, Steve returns to his apartment, where his neighbor greets him casually, mentioning she just worked in the hospital's disease ward and joking about not wanting to get him sick. Before leaving, she tells Steve his stereo is still on. Suspicious, Steve enters his apartment, shield in hand, and finds Fury wounded on the couch. Fury speaks in code, hinting that they are listening, before handing Steve a flash drive and warning him not to trust anyone. Just as Fury tries to say more, 3 bullets hit him. Steve searches for the shooter, but Fury's last words echo as he hands over the drive. The neighbor enters again, this time armed, and reveals herself as Agent 13, rushing to help Fury. Steve chases the assassin, hurling his shield, but the masked figure catches it effortlessly and throws it back, disappearing into the night. At the hospital, Steve and Natasha watch doctors attempt to save Fury, but he flatlines. Agent Hill joins them as the doctors declare him dead. Steve hides the flash drive behind a pack of gum in the vending machine. At S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, Steve meets with Pierce, who presses him about Fury's death. He suggests that Fury may have orchestrated the hijacking to steal classified information but was betrayed. Steve rejects this and repeats Fury's last warning, "Don't trust anyone." On the elevator ride down, Steve notices several S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, including Rumlow, acting suspiciously. Sensing danger, Steve asks if anyone wants to get off, triggering a fight. The agents attack with magnetic cuffs and electric rods, but Steve overpowers them all. Sitwell orders the strike team to intercept. As more agents close in, Steve disables the elevator, sending it crashing down before leaping through the glass and landing on the ground. He escapes on his motorcycle, dodging roadblocks until a Quinjet appears. Using his shield, he jams the jet's propeller, sending it spiraling out of control as he escapes. Steve returns to the hospital to retrieve the flash drive, only to find it missing. Natasha appears, casually chewing gum, and she reveals the Winter Soldier, a mysterious figure responsible for over 200 assassinations over the past 5 decades. Determined to uncover more, they decide to use the flash drive to track him down. Disguised as a couple, Steve and Natasha head to a mall, using the flash drive and a computer at an Apple store. The signal leads them to Wheaton, New Jersey. They continue to follow the signal, arriving at an abandoned military base, which Steve recognizes as his old training grounds. Behind a bookshelf, they find a room full of outdated computers. Natasha inserts the flash drive into a modern port, activating a program that reveals Arnim Zola's consciousness, transferred into a computer before his death. Zola also admits to orchestrating the deaths of Howard and Maria Stark. Before he can explain further, he warns them of an incoming missile. Steve and Natasha dive for cover as the missile strikes, obliterating the base. Wounded and on the run, Steve and Natasha take refuge at Sam's house, the only person they trust. Ready to fight back, Sam introduces them to the Falcon military project. Steve and Natasha force Sitwell onto a rooftop, where Steve dangles him over the edge. Sitwell knows Steve won't drop him, but Natasha kicks him off the roof. Sam catches him mid-air using his Falcon jetpack. Terrified, Sitwell confesses that Zola created an algorithm to identify threats based on personal data. On the way to the Triskelion, the Winter Soldier ambushes their car, pulling Sitwell out and tossing him in front of an oncoming truck. As he catches up, Steve intervenes, leading to a fierce battle. The Winter Soldier's speed and strength rival Steve's. Mid-fight, Steve removes the mask and is shocked to discover the assassin is his old friend, Bucky Barnes. Stunned, Steve hesitates, but Bucky coldly asks, "Who the hell is Bucky?" Hydra agents capture Steve. In a prison van, Natasha feigns a medical emergency, and when a guard checks on her, another guard knocks him out, revealing it's Agent Hill in disguise. She frees them and takes them to a safe house where they find Fury alive. Fury faked his death using a serum developed by Banner. He reveals that Project Insight is launching soon, and the helicarriers will target millions worldwide. To stop it, they need to override the system with 3 control chips, and Fury hands leadership to Steve. Meanwhile, the Winter Soldier is at a Hydra safe house, where agents repair his metal arm. He experiences flashes of memory. Confused, he questions his connection to Steve. Pierce orders his mind wiped again to ensure he remains the perfect assassin. Steve retrieves his old uniform from the Smithsonian. Captain America and Falcon infiltrate headquarters, and Steve exposes Pierce as a Hydra operative through the building's speakers. A firefight erupts between loyal S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and Hydra forces. Rumlow forces an agent to release the helicarriers, but Agent 13 intervenes and a brutal confrontation follows. Despite her efforts, Rumlow manages to launch the carriers. Steve and Falcon battle through Hydra forces to plant the control chips. Steve installs the first chip, while Falcon uses a missile blast to breach another helicarrier and installs the second. In the council chamber, Pierce tries to convince the members to join Hydra, presenting it as global security. When one member refuses, Pierce pulls a gun, but a councilwoman takes out the Hydra agents, revealing herself to be Natasha in disguise. As backup arrives, Fury steps in, catching Pierce off guard. Fury removes his eye patch, revealing his scarred eye, and overrides the system. Pierce, in his last act of defiance, activates security pins that burn into the council members' chests. He threatens Natasha, but she activates the pin herself, buying time. Fury shoots Pierce twice, and he dies, muttering, "Hail Hydra." The Winter Soldier is unleashed, killing agents and ripping off Falcon's wing before tossing him off the helicarrier. Falcon ejects his parachute and rushes to fight Rumlow. Steve faces Bucky again, trying to reach the man he once knew. Bucky refuses to listen, and they fight again. Steve attempts to install the final chip, but Bucky knocks it away. After a brutal struggle, Steve wounds Bucky's arms and retrieves the chip, but Bucky shoots him 3 times. Despite his injuries, Steve locks the final chip in place, and Hill takes control. The helicarriers turn on each other, and their targeting systems fail. As the helicarriers collapse, one crashes into the Triskelion. The third helicarrier falls, and Cap is caught in the wreckage with the Winter Soldier. Cap refuses to fight his old friend, enduring brutal punches. As Winter Soldier prepares to deliver the fatal blow, he hesitates, showing a flicker of recognition. The helicarrier crashes, sending Cap into the water. As he slips unconscious, he sees a hand reaching for him. Winter Soldier drags him to shore, then walks away, leaving Cap behind. In the aftermath, Steve recovers in a hospital. Fury meets Steve and Sam at a cemetery, standing by his own grave. He tells them that if anyone asks for him, they should come here. He leaves, and Natasha arrives to deliver a file Steve requested. She explains it's Fury's way of saying thank you. That's how the movie ends. If you liked our video, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel for upcoming videos.